3 reasons why your pasta carbonara at home doesn't turn out as good as it should. 1, you end up making spaghetti with scrambled eggs. 2, the sauce doesn't really coat the pasta. Or 3, you aren't adding those special flavor enhancers. Today, I'm bringing you what I think is the most foolproof method to amazing pasta alla carbonara at home. The carbonara technique used in this video is based on Luciano Monasilio's method, except I add a couple flavor enhancers to my version that I think takes it over the top. So without further ado, let's make some pasta. At its most basic, carbonara is typically eggs and cheese and guanciale that is emulsified into a sauce by tossing with hot pasta. For my version, I use whole garlic cloves and cured egg yolks to add some more flavor. The whole garlic cloves are used to create a garlic-infused guanciale fat, and the cured egg yolks are used both in the sauce and sprinkled on at the end for a little bit of salt flavor enhancement. Let's start prepping our ingredients. You're going to start by dicing up the guanciale into large cubes. Guanciale is a cured pork cheek, and I'm lucky enough that my dad butchers and cures a bunch of his own meats. But if you can't find guanciale, go for pancetta, or if you can't find that, look for a thick cut bacon. But guanciale is the king of carbonara. With that all cubed up, now we need to mash some garlic cloves. All you're doing is bashing them just to remove the skin, nothing more. As for the cheese, I'm using Pecorino Romano only. Some people use a mix of Pecorino or Parmesan, but I just went Pecorino only. All I did was throw this into a food processor and blitz it up, and we have this perfectly grated Pecorino for our sauce. Lastly, you're just going to take the cured egg yolks that I showed how to make in my last video and just shred them on a cheese grater. With all the ingredients prepped, we can head over to the stove. I'm a big proponent of setting up a neat little workstation while you're cooking to help keep everything under control. You're gonna set a cold pan over low heat and add the guanciale chunks and the whole garlic cloves. Now we're just gonna let this fat slowly render out, and that garlic clove is going to impart some flavor into the fat. Also, don't forget to set up a pot of water to boil, and while we're doing that, we can mix up our sauce. You're gonna start by cracking 3 eggs into a large mixing bowl, and if you're like me, get a little piece of eggshell in and have to fish that around for a few seconds. Now I typically use whole eggs, but you could use yolks only, which is gonna leave you with a yellow and a little bit thicker sauce. Or you could do a mix of maybe 2 whole eggs and 1 egg yolk. So don't be afraid to experiment here and see what egg composition leads to the sauce consistency that you like. Pour in 50 grams of the Pecorino Romano, add half of the shaved cured egg yolks, and lastly, give it 20 cranks of black pepper. It's gotta be 20. Back at the stove, the guanciale chunks have started to release their fat. Make sure you capture the process, one of my all-time favorite smells. After about 3 to 4 minutes, you're gonna wanna start flipping over your pieces so we get even browning throughout and all that fat releases. Also, if you notice your garlic chunks are getting a little bit brown, just pop them on top of that bed of guanciale. While that continues to render, our pasta water has boiled. Add in a 1% solution of salt, so 10 grams per 1,000 milliliters, and add in the pasta and set a timer.
Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
Here's when multiple components start moving fast, so do not walk away from the stove. We're gonna remove our browned garlic cloves from the guanciale and separate them out through a strainer. This is gonna leave us with crispy guanciale and a beautiful fat to use in our sauce. Also, the fat roasted garlic is a snack for the chef. With 2 minutes before the pasta timers go off, this is the foolproof part of the method. Most carbonaras have you add everything to the pan you're rendering the fat in, but this pan can be a little bit hard to control the heat so the eggs can start to curdle. However, by using the serving bowl and using only the ambient heat from the steam and the pasta itself, it's really hard to overcook and have the eggs set. Additionally, you can technically pasteurize the eggs if you want to stick a thermometer in there, but for me, that's not something I'm overly worried about. Once you've started warming up the sauce and the pasta is ready, just take the pasta right from the pasta pot and put it into the serving bowl and immediately start stirring it up. Additionally, we're gonna add a nice spoonful or two of our guanciale fat and keep stirring that up. And then after about maybe 1 to 2 minutes, toss in your guanciale chunks and give it one last final toss. To serve this, set it on a nice plate. We're gonna put all the noodles on it first and then top it with those nice chunks of guanciale. Lastly, don't forget to sprinkle the remainder of that cured egg yolk over top, and we have this beautiful pasta carbonara. One of my favorite dishes, comes together so fast and absolutely delicious. Also, I do want to point out, this pasta method is great for tossing with vegetables too. One of my favorite things to do is toss in some spinach with the guanciale right at the end and then add that all together. It creates this nice green contrast. But whatever you end up putting in your carbonara, I think this method or technique from Luciano Monasilio is by far the best one that I've seen. As always, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.